Welcome back to Book Club Preview. Today we're looking at The Hobbit, Chapter 14, Fire and Water. Now, in this chapter, this actually goes back 2 days before the dwarves and Bilbo kind of walk through the treasure and go to their little tower where they're resting. So Smaug leaves the Lonely Mountain and he flies towards Lake Town, which is like Eldrathgoth or something. I don't know. I'm just going to call it Lake Town. And it's kind of a windy, cold day. Everyone's inside. There are a few watchmen looking around, and they saw some fires at night at the Lonely Mountain. And so the previous night, when Bilbo stole the treasure, Smaug got really angry. They're like, oh man, maybe the Dwarf King has turned on the forges again, and he's pounding gold again and making things. But one character who has a grim voice, he says, no, it's going to be something terrible. And they see this fire again at night, and they say, oh my goodness, look at that. And it looks like the river is gold because of Smaug's fire and his red scales going down the mountain. And they're like, the Dwarf King, the king under the mountain, is turning the rivers gold. And they're happy. And this guy, who we learned his name is Bard, is like, no, it's something more dangerous. Look, it's the dragon. Sound the alarm. And he yells, 2 arms, 2 arms, which means get your weapons, get your weapons. Cut the bridges. So they have all these wood bridges in the lake town, which if the dragon landed on them, he could land and just burn fire. And I mean, it could be pretty terrible. And the wood. So they're cutting all the bridges to drop them into the water and kind of protect themselves. And maybe even use the bridges as rafts. So Smaug comes in and he starts burning and blasting everything. And all the archers are shooting arrows. And the one guy with the grim voice, who's Bard, he's trying to direct everyone. He's trying to tell everyone. He's telling the master of the village, tell the people to keep fighting and tell these guys to watch out. The master disappears, okay? He grabs all his treasure and tries to run away. And Bard starts leading the charge. And he's trying to tell people to put out fires and to keep their courage. And they're shooting arrows. And then Bard has one last arrow. And he's going to shoot it at Smaug. And then a little, I think it's a sparrow or it's a thrush, that lands on his shoulder. And Bard can understand this bird's voice. Because Bard is from the line of the old human kings that lived in this area. The Lords of the Dale. And so he can actually still understand bird speech. Or at least this one. And the bird tells of everything Bilbo talked about. About the hole in Smaug's chest. And the bird says, wait, the moon is coming up and you'll be able to see the patch. Use your arrow for there. And so Bard grabs his last black arrow. And this arrow, whenever he used it in all his life, it always hit the target. This arrow was given to him by his father, who was given to him by his father, who was got from the king under the mountain 200 years ago. Don't even know how long ago. But it's a special, very well-built arrow. So he takes his arrow and he shoots it and right into Smaug's chest. It sinks all the way in, disappears, and Smaug crashes into Lake Town, destroying it and falling into the water. Smaug is dead. And everyone thinks that Bard is also dead. When they all get to the shore, they're saying, oh, master of the lake town, you are terrible. You left us and you just cared about yourself. You're awful. If Bard was still alive, we would make him king. Oh, Bard, we would make you king. And then out of the darkness, someone comes and says, Bard is still alive. He jumped into the river or into the lake or into the water. And they say, whoa, it's Bard, King Bard, King Bard. and they're saying, hooray for the archers, and low to the bankers, the money baggers, the money grabbers, the people like the master of the town. And Bard says, hey, thank you guys. Maybe at some point in time we'll revisit this, but right now I'm still going to follow the master, and we're going to take care of everyone, and let's get protected and safe because winter's coming and our town is destroyed. So immediately Bard sends a message to the Elf King where, hey, guess what? The Elf King heard about this several days ago already because birds were traveling and telling all the news that Smaug is dead. And they're telling the elves and the birds and the deer, and they tell Bjorn, and they even, the goblins hear about it, and the wolves, and everyone hears about Smaug being dead. But when the Elf King heard this, he said, oh, Thorin's dead, Lake Town's destroyed, Smaug is dead, all the treasure remains, and it is mine. And so he gets his army to start marching towards the mountain. But Bard sends messengers and says, hey, we need your help. Smaug killed everything or destroyed everything, and we won't survive winter without your assistance. And even though the Elf King is kind of greedy and he's not that good in the story so far, something changes and he starts to have compassion, and he starts to become a good leader and a good person again, at least in our sight. And he goes and he helps the people in Lake Town, and they start chopping down trees and building huts and just getting everyone ready for the winter so that way they can survive and in the spring build a new city or a new town. And after 11 days of all this preparation from the point where Smaug is dead, the human army, who now gathers, and the elf army, which gathers, starts to move towards the lonely mountain. And we'll, of course, see what happens with the dwarves in the next chapter. Some vocabulary words real fast. First one, foiled. Foiled means to block or hinder or destroy someone's plan. So maybe if you watch some superhero movies or cartoons or read the comic books, the villain says, oh, my plan has been foiled. It's been blocked, destroyed, ruined. Eminent is well known, famous. And the master of the town says, Bard has earned his eminence in our stories by being a dragon slayer. But why are you trying to make me not the master anymore? What did I do? It was the dwarves. And then everyone got angry at the dwarves. Master of Lake Town is really clever. Deposed is overthrow. So Lake Town's master says, why depose me when the dwarves woke up Smaug, not me? And depose means overthrow or to conquer or to take down from leadership. Recompense means a payment for damage. So the dwarves angered Smaug. Smaug killed or destroyed Lake Town and probably killed people. So the humans expect some payment for the damages that the dwarves caused by waking up Smaug. And this is carcass. And I think this is the British spelling of carcass. In English, the S is dropped and the E is dropped and there's another S. But a carcass is a dead body. So Smaug's carcass, okay, his dead body in the lake, it can still be seen on clear days. You can look down and see his bones and maybe even see some glittering gems. But no one ever dares fish near that spot or go their boat across that spot or dive down to grab any of the treasures. That leaves us with our discussion question. If you were from Lake Town, or maybe even imagine your town, your home, and there was some danger, okay? Would you rather have your town destroyed, but the danger also destroyed, or would you rather have the danger still be lying in wait, sleeping, but your town normal? Okay, so just from the book, would you rather have the town destroyed and Smaug dead, like what happened, or Smaug sleeping in the mountain and the town just normal and peaceful like usual? Of course, please make your own discussion question. that is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.